The entity engaged in amplification. Amplification is demonic, and also nothing about what this demon does is going to create thunderous, loud, disruptive noise, the unreasonable nuisance, which is also the grounds of what is federal prison, while group stalking with the state, doing so systematically, which is why he's going to federal prison, and also the company itself is going to be civilly and criminally prosecuted. Nothing about this job is going to create what is the amplified thunderous noise, creating impact inside of the apartment, especially while you are in the on the ground. The demon is engaged in what is terrorism while not even touching. You'll see the images that I took, not even touching the dumpsters, and the ongoing amplification is underway. This is the demon that's targeting me. This is light activity, crossing path, and relevant positioning. Nothing about that job, right, creates the loud crashing, ongoing audible activity is what it is. In addition to just looking at it on its surface, this is demonic activity that's underway. That's terrorism by Universal Waste Systems, creating light activity, engaged in a sex offense, doing so every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday with knowledge of the fact that they are being documented, having no legal argument whatsoever, group stalking, which is state surveillance, and a sex offense while I'm inside of my private space, workplace terrorism, harassment, and sexual violence while I'm inside of my office and they engage in this criminal system, and engaged in federal stalking while they are aware of the fact that they're being documented, and engaged in state surveillance, online flag communication devices. This demon, which you will see in the images that I'm capturing, is currently 6:23 a.m. I went from capturing images to video so that you can see the demon. All that they're doing is rolling dumpsters into the little concrete sectional, as I continuously describe. And there is nothing about that function that creates what is the amplified, heightened, unnatural level of volume and disruption, including you're talking about the hour, everything that you're factually breaking down about what the entity is doing is speaking to the P.O.C. in addition to what is the ongoing under all circumstances, even if you are a demon operating a waste management vehicle, that you're talking about amplification. Amplification is demonic, but I'm giving you what are the ongoing demonic activities that this entity is engaged in addition to what is driving on the in the parking lot. That's never going to create dynamic light across my ceiling, which I've documented as well. It's the same exact light activity that you've seen appearing on my ceilings at all hours of the day. That light activity, as I've documented in the middle of the night, in my dark room. This is terrorism and a sex offense that he's going to federal prison for. And I'm going to drain the pockets of that terrorist Universal Waste Systems Incorporated. The light activity that you see moving across the apartment building while he is driving in the parking lot, never now either. That is the impossible light activity that's coexisting with that demon's movement in the parking lot, doing so in concert and on behalf of what are the demons that are the LAPD, where you're also looking at engineer light moving on my ceilings while those demons are stalking in helicopters. This is the ongoing pattern of conduct that a demon-possessed entity is engaging in together on a ceaseless basis. Doing so while a demon is emptying garbage, doing so while a demon is driving in a parking lot, doing so while a demon is driving onto the grounds of Silverview Townhomes, doing so while the demons are driving up Alvarado Gardens, doing so while the demons are walking in and out off the property, doing so while they're monitoring your documenting what is impunity, which is exactly what this is, crossing a path, light activity. All 35 units are filled with third-party group stalkers who are going to be prosecuted as terrorists and sex offenders, and their lives shall be permeated with regard to neutralizing the threat that they pose while American citizens are subject to what is state surveillance. That is myself monitoring and targeting an American citizen. That's not driving out, going to work. That's a strategic planning with regard to crossing a path, maintaining presence on behalf of the state, just like Universal Waste is. They're engaging in maintaining the elements of monitoring, and this demon is doing so again with knowledge of the fact and the intention to harass as an entity, which is what you're doing when you're driving in relevant position and engineer lights moving on my ceiling inside of my apartment in an impossible manner, because that's never naturally occurring. The same thing while you're doing so, an engineered light remains inside of my apartment 24/7. You're maintaining the elements of monitoring and you're not doing anything else. Nothing is coincidental. Nothing is coexisting with what is distinct or separate from that pattern of conduct. And so Universal Waste is doing the same thing that you see the people of the state doing, and that's maintaining presence. And this is a demon that's just driving onto the grounds, does not live here, acting with Universal Waste. This is they're acting together. These are demons maintaining the elements of monitoring together. Okay, does not belong in that parking spot. This is demonic pacing. This is a demon. Again, the light activity and the coexisting of the elements of monitoring. You're talking about everybody at Alvarado Gardens is going to federal prison while they act in concert with the demons that are maintaining the light activity, relevant positioning, and crossing a path. Sex offenders that are monitoring your documentation, and then come onto the ground to engage in what is entirely psychotic. The entire population is engaging in this conduct. This demon comes onto the ground. So let me show you what they're doing. Pacing. back and forth, forward and backwards and forward and backwards and forward and backwards and forward and backwards. That's a sex offender and a terrorist, and universal waste is going to be prosecuted. All 59 units are going to federal prison for that, that live at Alvarado Gardens. This impunity that they're engaging in together as one. Any demon, just like you see a random demon operating a lift vehicle, comes onto the grounds to engage in the criminal system, and that's why you see things such as light ricocheting off from the asphalt, while any demon comes onto the grounds. That's what a demon just did using their vehicle lights. Okay, that's called light activity. And under the light source, where the sun is rising and setting, it is no form for what is stalking in the path with light. And that's exactly what that demon just exhibited, stalking in the path with light. Let me just drive onto the grounds right now, maintain relevant position. Let me pace around like a psychopath and a demon-possessed one. While the documentation is underway, all 59 units here are going to go to federal prison based on that maintenance of the state's criminal system, because that's exactly what that is. And the entity that's monitoring you does so while you're monitoring them. All 59 units here are going to be prosecuted for that impunity that they are engaging in, because they are group stalking together. Okay. The LAPD is relying on LAPD. Remember, they represent the state. The LAPD is relying on the people of the state, those that are living at the crime scene, those that come onto the grounds of the crime scene just to maintain such elements, and such psychopaths engage in the ongoing accumulation of evidence against themselves. And that's why all 59 units are going to be prosecuted with that. Okay. It is their engagement in that criminal conduct while they're inside of their apartments. They are engaging in what is this demonic and show of malice and impunity, coming onto the grounds to engage in what is the demonic pacing, while this demon in the universal waste vehicle is listening to me document and maintaining presence. And they're engaging in what is a show of terrorism. It is as demonic. It is as facilitating as the light activity that you've seen appear on my ceiling, flashing of light, just like you saw moving yesterday, which was the engineered light. I'm referencing the light before, the light activity that you saw on my ceiling as I've captured the last 2 days. But I've been capturing that pattern of conduct, and it's the demon possession of a whole population. How does a demon do that? Just like what you saw now, coming onto the grounds just to let me park. They don't even belong here. They're just coming onto the grounds to engage in light activity, relevant positioning, and audible activity. And it's a hostile demon that does so. This is a compulsion that the demon possessed have. This is speaking to the personality disorder, the ongoing obsession, the public safety concern that's created by a population that shares that same compulsion. All right. That's not coming onto the grounds of the wrong property. Oh, there's no wrong turn. Oh, I didn't come onto that was relevant positioning, light activity, and audible activity, while my voice is narrating their criminal conduct. And a demon did that because they're hostile to the truth that I speak. In the same way that you see the light activity coexist when I'm speaking to the reality of demon possession and the defeat of Satan, which are facts. Okay. The demon possessed engage in a show of hostility, and it is exhibited through the criminal elements of monitoring. That employee is going to federal prison. Nothing about their doing is ever going to create the amplification of audible activity. Nothing that a demon is doing is nothing other than amplification. Whether they are speaking or walking up a staircase, it's amplified. They're demons. Okay. Those demons, this demon, universal waste, heavily documented, and every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday engaging in what is terrorism. And then as I document them, those demons flee. And that was what is so psychotic, and also the cowardice of the demon possessed populations, equally pointing out what is the expiration date of this criminal system and the defeat of Satan. All right. Satan, that's whose only job. Okay. And I'm referencing this demon when I'm referencing Satan, because Satan is a spirit who uses people. Okay. So Satan is using universal waste systems. Satan is using this demon possessed third party whose only job is to empty a dumpster. Not only is he failing at that in life, he's engaging in what are a series of very serious federal offenses. And he is doing so in a manner that's going to prosecute the whole state. That was criminal facilitation in addition to engaging in the elements of monitoring. And doing so, again, there is no intelligent way to engage in group stalking. There's no intelligent or cunning way to engage in what is stalking in the path. Okay, there's no cunning or intelligent way to engage in what is amplification. It's impossible. And that is, again, the amplification, the elements of monitoring, another way, the demonic features of this criminal system are that which exist in plain sight. And the entity is engaging in the ongoing provision of evidence against itself and the whole state. All of them. You're not doing anything that is legal. You're not doing anything that is outside of the P.O.C. This is where the sun rises and sets. It's literally the same demon-possessed actor where you're seeing engineer light moving across the apartment building. No one has forgotten that. They are here engaging in what is an ongoing sex offense while I'm inside of my apartment, and that sex offender hurries up to move toward the dumpsters while amplification is occurring, and he's not even touching the dumpsters. In addition to that, the dumpsters, rolling them in and out of the sectional in the parking lot does not create thunderous loud activity. That's going to be heard heard and disrupting your sleep. Okay, that's going to create any impact inside of your apartment. Moving the vehicle, driving the vehicle does not create any light activity inside of your apartment, whether you're on the first floor or you're like me on the third floor during the day or at night. Okay, on the inside or on the outside of the apartment building. That's a demon. And that was a demon coming again, engaging in what is very disturbing, because you're not looking at driving, you're looking at a psychopath that's doing this. This is what the demons want to do. And they do it as a group. And then a hostile psychopath, that's a demon. And that license plate, while I don't need to know that license plate, I know all 35 units there that are going to be prosecuted for it. I know all 59 units here are going to be prosecuted. The entire entity, you're talking about the whole population on both sides of the hillside. They're engaged in state surveillance together. They engage in impunity as one. They engage in malicious state surveillance with a corrupt law enforcement agency. That's terrorism on behalf of a government, and you're a violent sex offender. They're all going to be prosecuted for that. No random demon is engaging in anything that's within some false sense of anonymity. In other words, that malice that a demon-possessed population exhibits while they're group stalking you is going to be applied to its criminal co-conspirator. Okay, it is currently, again, 6:33 a.m. This is the sex offense that's underway, and that is Universal Waste Systems Incorporated, a sex offender, going to be listed as a group stalker maintained on the list by the Department of Justice. Its employees, its demon-possessed employee, going to federal prison. Okay, and going so for not only for acting directly in concert with the demons of the corrupt law enforcement agency, the LAPD, but also because of systematic facilitation. The same reason why all 59 units here filled with third parties engaged in 24-hour surveillance and facilitation, systematically acting in concert with a corrupt law enforcement agency and the people of the state. That's why they're all going to federal prison. Every single last one of them. And those coming onto the ground, such as the Lyft employee, okay, such as the Center for Better Life drivers that are acting with the LAPD on a systematic, they're going to federal prison. All right. And that's how you're prosecuting state surveillance. And any and everybody else, as I've already documented, well before coming to Los Angeles, subject to the same rules. It is currently, again, 6:34 a.m. on May 31st, 2024. This is P.O.C.